please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence for the armed forces. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Ready?
Roll call.
Counselor Andrews?
Present.
Counselor Flegel? Here. Pearson?
Here.
Counselor Rydell?
Here.
Counselor Shear?
Here.
Counselor Snyder?
Here.
Counselor Wilson?
Here.
Mayor Miller?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Just a reminder, please silence all cellular devices during the meeting. Council members, please turn on your microphones. We have no special visitors scheduled today, so that will open up public comment number 1. Please step to the microphone, state your name, address for the record, and try to limit your comments to 5 minutes.
This is your agenda. I'm not reading off anything. Name and address. David Hine and 651 South Harrison Street. I'll try and make this quick. I spoke with a wonderful lady this morning, part of your administrative staff here, and she said, come on to the meeting. Let us know what you think. So I've called a few times lately, just some things in the community that kind of bothered me, and like holes in the street, and I'm told, I call up and I'm like, hey, there's a hole in the street. And they're like, oh, well, that's PA water, and, you know, you can kind of go pound sand on that one. They could just kind of do what they want to do. And we don't have any real jurisdiction to ask them to finish the job that they started. So I'm kind of shocked that these people can just run around town digging holes in the street and then making a mess and walking away and not finishing their job. So that's the first thing that really kind of bothers me. And anytime, you know, I have a neighbor, guy's house is like condemned. It's been there for a decade. You know, I'm paying $100. You know, I think it's $50 or $100 for a permit to park a John boat on my property, and these dilapidated houses are just allowed to exist, and I don't understand that either. So that's also frustrating. And the main thing that brought me here tonight and is in front of my house, 13 feet. 13 feet is how far away the snow plowed the snow. This has been a thing for years. The township does a phenomenal job. They get kudos online for the great job that they do. The plows here in Palmyra are terrible. They do a terrible job, right? And if they realize they're doing a terrible job, if they're somehow restricted, I don't know who restricts them. I was told that people complained about they plowed too close to the curb, and that's why they have to stay 13 feet. To give you an idea, I have a Toyota Tundra, which is a ridiculously large vehicle. That is twice the width of my Toyota Tundra. When I came home from work today, I literally have to dive into parking spots that people hand shoveled. And you can see the shovel marks. It's not a snowblower, guys, a big difference. You can see the shovel marks, and I literally have to drive into people's hand shoveled parking spots to get out of the way of oncoming traffic, because these lanes are so small. And if you've driven around town, if you've driven up Harrison Street, there's actually a spot that my car tires, I have a Honda Accord, right, which is significantly smaller than my Toyota Tundra, actually hit the snow banks on both sides. How is that okay? I mean, I would ask each and every one of you, how is that okay that my Honda Accord can't fit through Harrison Street without hitting snowbanks on both sides? In my world, and it's kind of a crazy place sometimes, that's not okay. The fact that you have traffic diving into hand-shoveled spots to get out of the way of oncoming traffic. This morning when I dropped my daughter off down at Forge, I was parked on Walnut. for her to open the door because, of course, the snowplows come through and they pile the snow this high and she can't get her door open. So I have to park almost dead center in the middle of the road. The bus coming in the opposing direction had to drive through the snowdrift to get by me, right? And I had traffic backed up. I'll be flat out open about it. I had traffic backed up behind me. You know, I needed a spot to drop off my little girl for school, and it was like 4 degrees, right? So the guy behind me did the same thing. He had nowhere to go, and his little girl was getting out the right-hand side because we don't want to we don't want them out the left-hand side because they're stepping out into traffic, right? So you have created, not you specifically, but Palmyra has created a massive safety hazard when it comes to traffic with this snowplow situation. And this has been going on for years, and people have complained about it for years. It's absolutely horrible, and I really hope that at some point in time, I'm not sure today will be the day that you all decide to do something about it, but at some point in time, somebody's gonna get hurt. And I hope it doesn't come to that before you decide to do something. That's all I have. Thank you. Do I have anything else to say?
Excuse me, may I have your name again?
Yeah, David Hine,
Thank you.
David, I'm sorry. What was your address? I missed it.
651 South Harrison. 13 feet. And that's not even there are places that are further out than that. Drive around. You'll see it. So, anyways. Do y'all have anything else for me? Do I owe you anything else?
No. Thank you for coming in with your concerns.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone else for public comment number 1? All right, we'll close public comment number 1. Consent calendar. The following agenda items will be acted upon by a single motion unless a member of Borough Council wishes a specific item to be voted on separately. Approve the minutes of the January 5th, 2025 Borough Council reorganizational meeting. Approve payment of all bills listed on the December 25th detailed checklist report. Approve the treasurer's report for the period of December 1st through December 31st, 2025.
Motion.
I have a correction.
Oh.
On the 3rd page of the minutes, under the action discussion items O, there's a typo. You have math through, Anders? What is it? Where is it at? O, on page 3, front side.
Page.
Okay. Appoint planning commission members? Yes, it has math through instead of Matthew. Anders? Last line, right before motion passed. It says math through, Anders, not Matthew. Oh, okay.
I didn't even catch it.
Okay. I was like looking at the top one going, what is she
Somebody's got to
reading?
take the spot.
All right, we can correct that very easily. I mean, it's not a big typo, but it's a typo.
Motion with name correction.
I'll second with corrections.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thanks for catching that. Hey, no problem.
All right, action and discussion items. Road closure request, Truck Trek Food Truck and Community Arts Festival. Suggest a motion to authorize the closure of West Cherry Street from South Railroad Street to South Mark Street on Saturday, May 9th, 2026, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. for the annual Truck Trek Food Truck and Community Arts Festival.
Is that the Cocoa Kitties? One or is that?
They're normally there, I believe.
Okay,
Who made the motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay. Do you have any issues with that? Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Road closure request for 2026 Memorial Day Parade. To to authorize the closure of roads necessary to assemble and conduct the Palmyra Memorial Day Parade on Monday, May 25th, 2026, from 8:30 a.m. Staging areas, 10 a.m. parade route to 12:30 p.m., utilizing the following parade route, beginning at the intersection of West Cherry Street and South Mark Street for the parade to line up, beginning in front of the Palmyra Area Middle School on West Cherry Street, continuing east on East Cherry Street, north on South Green Street, west on East Main Street, south on South Locust Street, and disbanding at the Palmyra Area Middle School.
Good, Chief. Motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. To reports. President's report, I don't have anything to report on this time. I just want to thank you guys for all coming out. It's great to see people of the community out here. Mayor's report, Mayor Miller.
Hi. We get some weather that's pretty wild, and we haven't had it for a few many years. And I do know that there's been a lot of work in the town, but it's also been very good with the community and the folks in town. I have driven around and seen some of the places, and there has been a lot of work by the local residents in the town to push out the snow, to get it out, their vehicles out of the way so they can park it. So I do understand some of the situations we have, but if you can, I know it can be difficult sometimes, but try to smile. Maybe the sun was a little bit and the snow was a little bit of fun, because we live in a great part of the country that has 4 seasons. So we get some ups and downs for some, but some of us love the snow, and I'm one of them. So I thought it was great. So.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much.
All right, the financial report, financial statement from, as of December 31st, 2025. Any questions? No. All right, delinquent sewer and refuge account report.
Okay, so you have the year-end report. For the purposes of those that are looking at this, maybe for, the first time, you'll notice that the greater than 180 days at the end of December was at 72,900 compared to last year, which was at 74,500. So for the purposes of an explanation of this particular report, we go by the over 180 days. That's old debt. So we're trying to collect old debt. There's also a balancing act to try to keep the greater than 90, greater than 60, and greater than 30 at a reasonable rate too. So you can tell our billing dates, January, and then you've got April, July, and October. So you'll see some fluctuations in those months because of billing. But the bottom line is we collected a lot of the old debt this year. Any questions on the report?
Always like to see the left side go down.
Yeah, we try, the middle columns too, but that depends on, billing cycles and how things shake out. So we're really working on old debt. And again, we encourage anybody that has a delinquent balance to contact the borough, and, we'll work with you. Communication's the key.
Thanks, Brenda. Thank you.
don't you call the office tomorrow and we'll talk about it? I'll give it to you.
I'd like to have it on record.
Well, I just said the outstanding balance for over 180 days at the end of the year was $72,959.
Total outstanding.
Here, you want to add it up? You may have this. Happy to give that to you.
Thank you, Brenda. Fire Department and EMS report. The Fire Service Commission meeting is, the next meeting is Wednesday, February 4th, 2026 at 6 PM. November 2025 Lifeline Monthly EMS report. Anybody have any questions about the EMS report?
Yeah, will we have the December totals on the next one then?
Yes, they just sent it to us.
Oh, yeah, never mind. I didn't even see this, never mind. Answer my own question, sorry.
Right. Library report, Council Flegel.
Right, so, first time there, so, you know, it was interesting. I did include with the regular report some things that I found very interesting. I thought maybe you guys would as well. A listing of the programs that the library offers. There's like a ton of programs other than just borrowing books and returning them. All ages, all kinds of things that are going on. The other thing I found very interesting was, now this is the 2024 library use, 25 isn't out yet. But she breaks it down for us by use by municipality. So this is broken down for usage by borough residents into the library. And I found it very interesting. Like, library visits by borough is, 111,000 visits in 2024. So 7,695 borough card holders just from the borough. That's most of our population of the borough has a library card. So anyway, I found it very interesting. I thought maybe you guys would as well.
Thank you. The Western Lebanon Regional Police Department.
Any questions on the report that I gave you? We'll end up, next month, you'll get like a year-end PowerPoint that I'll hand out to you. It's not gonna look the same as this, it's gonna be different. I'm trying something else. Instead of little charts like this, it'll be a little different. It'll talk about different things we did, technology, use of force, what else? Accreditation, and just kind of give you an overall picture. And what else? We have one person that's gonna retire in April, so we started the hiring process to replace that person. So that's about it.
Who's retiring?
Darryl Heisey, he's gonna retire, what is it, April the 1st.
Okay.
He'll be done. And also, I'm just gonna throw this, because I gotta ask this question. The crime statistics are on Crime Watch. If you go to regional police and go down, you'll see a monthly report tab. You can click on it, and everything that they have, you will be able to see. And I'll update that tomorrow. Thank you, Matthew.
Yes, you will see it, all of this stuff, if you go online, as the chief just explained. Very important.
All right. Thanks, Chief. Recreation Commission, Counselor Rydell.
Yes, we had our first meeting back last Wednesday on the 21st. Appointed community member at large, the Honorable Dave Warner Jr. We have made some changes in the election of officers. Faith Bucks is now the chairwoman, Anthony Catalani is the vice chair, I am the treasurer, and Richie Delbert is the secretary. We are looking at some improvements at the Ridge Road complex right now, which we are discussing. And when I get the minutes, I'll send them to you guys.
Thank you.
Counselor Rideout,
Yes,
the minutes that you shared, were these approved yet by the commission?
they were she just sent them out today.
Okay, but
They'll be-
the commission hasn't
Yeah,
approved.
we'll approve them next meeting.
You'll approve them, so these are draft minutes. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
The solicitor's report. Roger, do you have anything?
One quick thing, just so you're all aware, with the snow events and possible other snow events. Questions came to the office about who's responsible for, like, when we plow snow into the intersection and the sidewalk ends because of a snow pile, whose responsibility is that to clear a path for the pedestrians, to enable crossing the street without climbing over the snow pile? The answer is it's the adjacent property owners. However, the way our ordinance is worded, if we wanted to do a citation for someone who is refusing to do that, there really isn't anything, language in the ordinance to do that at this time. So if that's something that we want to look at doing in the future, we'd have to change the ordinance, which can easily be done the next time we have some kind of an ordinance update or anything like that. Same with fire hydrants. If there's a fire hydrant on your property, you're pretty much a responsible person to clear the snow around the hydrant. I think it's 2 feet around the full perimeter of the fire hydrant is maybe 3.
3.
So, but again,
They'd appreciate 3.
yeah, but again, we don't have language in our ordinance if somebody refuses to do that to issue a citation. So that's something else that can be added. So I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that because those questions were coming in.
I see Chief Dugan just walked in. Chief Dugan?
Unless anyone has any questions about the fire report. That was emailed out.
Anybody have any questions?
I'll have a 2025 closeout ready for the fire commission. And it'll get disseminated, so the borough council members and township officials.
Thank
Chief,
you.
tell your guys thanks for staying at the station Sunday night. I was out driving, checking the roads, and I saw the parking lot was full. Glad they were there to get out. We needed it during the snow.
They're all weekend.
Well, thank you.
Zoning and code enforcement. Zoning hearing board. Hearings are scheduled for Monday, February 9th at 5:30. 101 North Harrison Street Venture Real Estate Development, announcement of their decision. Anybody have anything on that? 740 West Main Street, owner Gelato and Company, applicant Karen Staub, seeking special exemption, section 380-128.
Kendra Staub.
Karen Staub.
Kendra Daub. There's an error.
Kendra Dobb,
Kendra Dobb.
okay. Seeking special for substitution or replacement of a non-conforming use in order to establish a cat rescue facility. Anybody have any questions on that one? And 235 West Main Street, Todd and Shelley Erhard, seeking a variance of the minimum lot area, 7,200 square feet, and maximum improvision cover 40%, section 380-15.g / table 380-15-g, to enable the creation of 6,795 square feet lot with 55% impervious cover.
Zoning okay with all that?
Yeah, this is your opportunity to, the only really role you can play in the zoning hearings is Borough Council can support the application, actively oppose the application or just take a neutral position, which 99% of the time is what Borough Council typically does, so, that's
But our zoning office is good with them?
yes.
This is the place years and years ago that was a hair place, right?
It's possible.
I think it was many years ago. I'm showing my age, but I think it was.
It says it's a hair salon now.
It's a hair salon. The one on West Main Street? Yeah, it says it's a hair salon now.
I think it was one way back too.
Wait, they're both on West Main Street.
Wait, when I-
One of the ones West Cherry.
But this is why
That's
this
the
says
pro- that's the
property
property.
address? Oh, okay. Wait, but
Oh, yeah,
aren't they
you're
both the
right. Yeah.
property?
Yeah, they're both on West Main. The other one's a property owner's address. As long as zoning's good, then I have no issues.
Yeah,
Never mind, I totally read that.
I have no issues with them. Anything else? Borough Manager's report.
Really, the only thing to report, we got the bids for Pump Station 3. We got them too late to put it on this meeting agenda for review and approval, but the low bid was $624,500 for general construction, and then the electrical contract was $150,700. So that'll be on your next meeting agenda for.
That's to
for
rebuild
approval.
it. That's to rebuild
To
3.
relocate Pump Station 3. Now, in addition to that, we also had, you already have your design costs for the borough engineer to do that, and we had to buy the actual pump station equipment itself from Envirep, which is a CoStar's dealer, so that needed to be bid. And that was, I don't have the exact number in my head, but it was probably close to $300,000. So all totaled, you're gonna be looking at about $1.3 million for the pump station job, so.
I would hate to see the high bid.
Yeah. Which before the world went crazy, we were thinking we could probably do that for about 700,
Yeah.
750, yeah, total, so.
Would you say, looking at overall, 1 point how much?
It'll be about 1.3 total.
And where will that come out of?
The special sewer fund. That's all I got.
That's all you got?
Yep.
All right. Communications. There's none. Any other business? Chief?
Not at the moment, I'm good.
I just want to thank our public works crew. I mean, we're always going to have complaints, but I talked to Roger, or I was out driving Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and they were, work 36 hours straight?
50, I think.
50
They-
straight.
They were
That's
here.
a lot of,
Yeah, 3 AM Sunday morning, Saturday night, whatever you want to call it, till 3 o'clock yesterday, straight through.
I mean, we'll always get complaints, but give them our thanks for staying out that long.
Thank you.
One question, whoops,
Nope, I'm good.
one question. Regarding the plowing the snow in front of the house, do we have an ordinance on that? Saying how far,
Yeah.
or a rule about it? Do we have anything stating how far they're allowed to go in?
Well, we can't go curb to curb in areas where there's sidewalks immediately adjacent, because there's Commonwealth case law for moving snow from the road onto the sidewalk. So in those areas, we have to be very careful. In other areas where you have the curb and maybe a grass strip and then the sidewalk, they could probably be a little bit more aggressive.
So like on West Cherry Street, where it's wide,
Right.
could they go closer than just the driving lane?
They can,
For example.
absolutely.
think with
we
Harrison
actually,
looks
I had a meeting with them before the storm started, and I expressed that that was one of the complaints that we have routinely gotten. And, you know, typically half a car width would be where you would want to stay, so 4 feet from the curb. I know they're reluctant, since they're inexperienced, to drive towards a parked vehicle, go around that vehicle, and then go back. So I know they like to try to stay even with a full width of a car, but 13 feet is absolutely unacceptable. So we'll definitely be addressing that, so,
I should have measured from mine, because all they did was the driving lane on West Cherry.
yeah.
So, move to.
So there isn't any standard, though, for how wide it is supposed to be, or?
No, it's just that we just cannot put snow on sidewalk.
Directly on the sidewalk adjacent to the
And we
road.
know that for a fact because we had an instance here years ago where people were threatening a lawsuit because of us doing it, so.
Where I live, is that maintained by, because
PennDOT.
that
That's
part's the
PennDOT.
state
That's
road,
PennDOT.
yeah, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
and PennDOT, they answer to no one, so they'll do whatever they want to do.
Yeah, it was really great coming home to that.
Now, I'm sure. Now, down in the parking areas of town, we can go from white line to curb on the main drag.
Well,
Correct.
again,
As long as it
PennDOT's,
doesn't go on the
PennDOT's
sidewalk.
taking care of that too. So PennDOT will come down through Main Street and just, I've seen when it's a real wet, sloppy snow, house
Don't
fronts.
be
They
standing
blow
there.
it in front of the
Don't
house.
be
Yeah.
standing there.
So, but if we would do that, we would be in trouble.
Right.
The other thing I wanted to mention too is, we're thinking about, you know, typically we get this much snow we haul out of downtown, but we might get this other storm this weekend. So we're kind of waiting to see, I don't really want to pay to do it twice, so if we get this other storm, we will have no option to do it. So, I just would hate to do it
What did
twice
you
unless
say?
you feel differently.
We'd haul it out.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
And I think the rec commission did give approval to dump up in Ridge.
yes, they did. Yep. Oh, fingers crossed we don't get another blizzard. We don't need that.
Yeah.
Anything else, Beth?
No, that was it. Thank you.
Roger, Brenda?
No, it's a.
All right, that will open public comment period number 2. Please step to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and try to limit your comments to 3 minutes.
I'll say one thing for what you had mentioned, just real quick. Same person, Dave Hine. Just comments for the meeting. Cherry, headed towards Hershey, the right-hand lane wasn't even clear to the white line. Wild incompetence, wasn't even cleared to the white line. Like, the right-hand lane wasn't even fully open on Cherry, which is about 300 feet wide. So they couldn't even clear one lane. And as for your comment, sir, that would be public admission of wild endangerment. After 24 hours, and they've done a bunch of studies on this, and I've actually done endurance events that have gone 24 plus hours. After 24 hours, you function at the equivalent of a 0.10 blood alcohol level. So if you're running these crews who are in charge of 15 ton, I don't know how many tons those trucks weigh. I know my truck is like 3 or 4 ton. I certainly pay enough in registration fees for that thing. Thank you for Pennsylvania for completely ripping me off. But you have a 10-ton truck with somebody who is equivalent of a 1.0 blood alcohol level. I don't say thank you. I say you're endangering the public. You need to find somebody else to drive those trucks. And obviously, they're not doing a very good job because you have people complaining. There's people complaining all over Palmyra. They say, what a great job. I understand what you're saying, sir, about the ordinance and, snow on the curbs and lawsuits. So I absolutely understand that. But when you say you got people out working 50 hours, anything over 24, 0.10 blood alcohol level. And I'm pretty sure Chief Winter's here, if he catches you with a 0.08 or above, you're gonna end up in cuffs. So that is a public danger. That is not something that I say, thank you. That is something that I say, get off the roads. You're going to kill someone. in addition to creating the havoc that you have on our roads in the community here. So I would caution, what we thank people for doing. I've been in that situation where over 24 hours of an endurance event, and I've been there. And I will tell you 100%, you are not in any shape to drive. So I would just caution that 50 hours.
I know, well, they were here 50
They were
hours. They
here.
were not driving for 50 hours.
If you're up for 50 hours, I mean, you can play semantics.
No,
If you're up for 50 hours,
No.
They slept.
They slept
slept.
at the shop.
okay,
Yeah.
you didn't say that. Words mean
I
things.
just meant they were here for
Yeah,
50
yeah.
hours.
Well, that means they didn't go home and they didn't get a quality night's sleep. So
Can you
pilots,
reword that? When
pilots,
you say they were here, can you reword that?
They were at work, but they
Oh,
got
okay.
sleep over at the shed.
Okay.
yeah, so in the pilot world, there's a crew duty day. If you cross that crew duty day, it's shown, studies show, that you cannot function at a normal level without going home and getting an adequate night's sleep. That's why pilots can't go to work for 50 hours, right? They have crew rest, they have mandatory crew rest, and they can only work a certain number of duty hours, right? The military, you have a 12-hour TAC duty day, you have a 16-hour flight duty day, right? Airline pilots, same thing. So if you don't release these people to get a good night's sleep, just because they took a nap, even airline pilots aren't authorized to take naps on international flights, right? They have sleeping quarters, they have bunk, you have augmented crew rest, right? Where they can recess back into the cabin and take a nap during the flight and then come back and resume control of the aircraft. They are still only authorized to fly a certain period of time because that sleep is not adequate. So once again, I caution you to say, they were at work, sure they took a nap, 50 hours, they're still a danger to society.
Thank you for your comment.
Does council have any ideas on how to maybe start to consider, I mean, I have one. I definitely know what we've talked about in the past, and we've had some elimination of maintenance personnel for this town. So if we continue to remain short of personnel, we're gonna have situations that could happen to this town. And I really think we've gotta start to reconsider and get and even that one extra person would help considerably, because you would be able to get some others. So I hope the council can reconsider that and maybe get, that's my idea. I don't know what the council thinks, but that's one idea I have that I think would be good.
I like to see some part-time seasonal for plowing purposes only at some point. That's all they do. We have a storm, we call them in.
Yeah.
That saves our supervisor, he can actually go check the streets instead of being up in a truck all day.
Roger, to address this gentleman's concern, do you know what that, how many hours that is that they are allowed to work?
Well, as a municipality, we're not subject to any of that kind of stuff.
Hours of service or anything?
So there's no supervision over that, over how many hours they work and sleep?
No.
Anyone else for public comment period number 2?
My name is Kevin Furman, 734 East Cypress Street, Palmyra. So, Roger, I've heard that before about the lawsuits and plowing snow on sidewalks. And as I was running things through my head, the state routes would have that, like Redwood Street, Main Street. I'm trying to think of, there's probably some other older streets in town that would have that, but even like Chestnut there was 3 lengths of cars that you could have parked in the snow that wasn't plowed back. And I realized that somewhere along the line, somebody told them not to plow to the curbs, and it's gotten out of hand. And if you make the change now, you're gonna have more people mad because you plow everybody's driveways back shut. But if we get this big snow this weekend, we're gonna be in big trouble. You can't make the turns safely on some of the streets. But my question more is, I drove, and I've been working in Cleona, so I'm going all the way down through, and I've been driving on some of the side streets. Cleona's actually, they're using a contractor, but he plowed to the curbs and doesn't have anything up on the sidewalks. And the sidewalk, place where I'm working, there is nothing on the sidewalk. He just plowed to the curbs, but he didn't fly down through it. You can go within a foot or two if you're not driving at 40 miles an hour down the street. It won't throw it that far. It's been this problem for years, and this is different council this time, but I feel like he's give us a political pat in the back. I've heard it a couple times from one person already in a couple meetings I've been at this year. And I'm just thinking, that's just a political garbage. Keep the people happy, think positive things, and don't be accountable. I was here back when we went through the trash removal stuff. And I asked questions, one of the councilmen sitting over where Councilman or Councilwoman Beth is right now, for the second meeting was at, said, we haven't answered any of his questions, and they never did. I'm not happy with the response from the council sitting at that here. Now, some of you are new, so please don't take that way. But I have been here and questioned certain things, and I understand that it's tough. And I don't know how many employees are even right now on the road crews, but I understand that we're having trouble keeping them. And it's usually for two reasons, either salary or management. Now, there are some other things that can happen in there, but if you can't keep people working more than a year or so, there's a problem. It's either salary or not being managed correctly. So I think we need to look at some stuff from that end of the borough, where you guys are all sitting at right now. I've heard last meeting that all bunches want to make sure the community, we do work for the people and things. You're not doing that, and in my opinion, and a lot of other people that I talk to, you haven't been. Some of you have tried to, but there was a small number. And I think that's why some of the changes happened this past election. But if time will tell how we're going to move forward. But this next snow, even if it snows 3 inches, you have the right to plow everything back and get it back where he is, because then everybody's got to dig out anyhow, no matter what. So you can move it back and be fine. I know we used over in College Street, or Chestnut Street, we used tractors and moved stuff to get in and out. We actually had, wider than that table, pals that we could drive in behind, and that's where all we do is put it on top of what was left. So I don't want to beat a dead horse that way. I heard Mr. Hines say when I walked in, and I wasn't even going to say anything, but I don't understand how we're the only, seem to be township borough, stuck with we can't plow to the curbs when everybody else does. North Londonderry plows, and I know a lot of them have grass strips between them there. They plow all the way back, and you drive back there, they actually plow into the corners to push that little 90-degree angle back even. It makes it even easier to turn. I can remember way back when the borough manager, Mr. Garber, was on a green John Deere tractor in the snow back in the 80s, going to the corners and doing the same thing, pushing them back because we had gotten that much snow. The turns are not easy. I came out Birch Street tonight at Birch and Forge. It's one lane. So I'm going to stop ranting, but I made my point. Thank you.
Kevin, can I just clarify? You just kind of dumped a whole lot there. I just want to make sure. So we're talking about the plowing. I got that.
Plowing is the most thing that and the other thing is just, I have been here before and I've gotten
You don't feel
fluff
listened to.
from council members. Don't pat me in the back and don't try and smooth things over because I will catch it. And I've had some people in this last 2 meetings try to make things everything's fine and this and that. You can't, there's people in this borough that, we elected you to take care of things. I don't come very often because unless I have an issue or want to bring up something, I'm not here. Because the meeting is not, you see in your work sessions, all the paperwork, all the details.
Right.
We get just the surface. You voted for this, you voted for that, and we can speak. But sometimes till the motion comes, it's already been worked through, and we don't even know things going on. So as a borough resident, I feel like sometimes it's not even worth, especially how I felt over the last number of years when I've been coming. Borough Council listened and said things, and I remember there was a lady here a couple times I heard her say, well, we don't want to spend any money, we don't want to spend any money. Then she'd vote to And they even said at that same meeting that making the police department merge wasn't gonna be beneficial financially. But she voted for it. So, you know, you can say what you want, but when you don't put the actions to behind your words, it doesn't mean anything to the residents.
So you're,
But Councilwoman, my point is here, I more so wanted to understand how that Palmyra Borough is the only one that can't plow the curbs when everybody else can. Cleona doesn't even have enough crew. They have contracted north and south of 422 for their plowing. And you can drive on the sides and you see the difference. Go on the north side. They actually plowed completely to the corner, but they pushed it to the alleys and stopped at a POW and back and forth. They didn't necessarily push it to the curves, but they went down and pushed straight for the block, and things. I will say this, now that you asked me another question. One of your drivers, if I could have reached him, he would have had to come see me. They came, the second time they came up through, the first time they did great. We all moved our vehicles off the streets, put them wherever we need to in the yards. I have a couple of properties, I told people, put your cars in my driveways. I said, let's get off the streets. And they came by with 3 trucks and plowed to the curbs. We saw it, they plowed to the curbs. I thought, great, they're gonna do something. I was out with a snowblower by that time, because it had started to sleet and it was 2 and 3 in the afternoon. They came going east to west, 2 trucks. And I had gone out because I didn't want them to come and plow everything shut. So for about 3 houses, I started in the middle of the road and started blowing the snow up in the yards. I was 4 passes with my snow blower from hitting the curb, and they came east to west. The first truck was a big dump truck, and he kind of was more on the parking side of the north side of the road, plowing to the right. The second was a pickup truck, came up, and then he was plowing to the left. I understand what they were trying to do. Because they were gonna stop until the storm had completely stopped. They were trying to make a pass so the roads were clearable for the fire police and fire and police to get through if they needed to or any kind of emergencies. But he took all that snow that was in the, quote, westbound lane and threw it over and everything I had just blown free. And I was like, you idiot. Nothing else, if I would have had the snow blower right there, I would have blown the snow in his door because he had his window open. I was furious. And I don't know what the instructions are to our road crews. And that's just a little thing that peeved me at that point. I understand that they don't, when they're going through the borough, and sometimes we clear our driveways, they come back and plow everything. It is what it is. They can't be there when I'm ready to go up my driveway and plow. I'm not beefing about that, Roger. I understand some of that. And for those who complain about the snow being plowed onto their sidewalks, wait till everybody else gets plowed, but then don't be going around every 24 hours, because you guys have an ordinance that says you gotta be able to park within 12 inches of the curb. That ordinance is, you can't not plow close and then tell us we gotta park close. Granted, we always cleared our streets, so we weren't parking out into the lane some. And my street's wide enough that you can give a little bit on it. I'm not like on some of the streets where it's narrower. But, anyway. Sorry if I ran anymore. You said 3 minutes ago. Denver, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Kevin.
so Kevin did bring up a good point, I think, with some of the handouts that we get. Is it possible to put them up on the screen there? For whoever's here?
As long as it's not a legal document that, is,
For like a lot of the reports and, things like that, like that. Is that okay? I think it would help the community that does attend kind of interact a bit more, and I think it will help communication.
well, if I can make a recommendation, after you approve the reports, we can put them on the website as attachments to your minutes. When you approve the minutes, we can attach them.
These weren't, if you put them up during a meeting now, they're not approved yet.
Okay.
So, once like, just for an example, the delinquency report, we're happy to post that, to post the last one that was approved and reviewed by council with the minutes from the last meeting.
Okay. Is there anything that we can share that's like kind of real time that we're looking at? I just know from school board, there were always, there was always a screen, and as we were
Well, yeah,
going
they
through
did
things.
paperless packets because they have the money to be able to do that. So, yeah, it'd be great if we could do that, but yeah. I think logistically, it would be tough for me and Brenda to try to keep that stuff on the screen while we're also answering questions and trying to take
Taking
notes, and I don't know, it would be tough.
It is also standard for not only in the borough councils, but the state and the congressional portions is the people that were elected to run those communities for the people within that. They have the work of doing, which I've shown the town many times, of all that they have to go through, because that's how it works. The people of all of those communities and all of the states can't run down and see every single item that they do until they are passing them, or until because it would be impossible. This is what you folks are here for. You are to go through these policies and to put through, you get information from the community prior, just like this gentleman had come out and he explained to us, hey, maybe we should plow closer to the curbs. He's given you the opportunity, but you have to do it for the town. You can't have everything displayed because they have an opportunity to come to us and talk, but then you get to make the decisions.
Yeah, I understand that. I just think that the more that they can see that we are looking at and communicating, the better. And I feel like if there are things that they can view, why not share it real time? I mean, like I said, like that's what we did at school board, and it just,
School board's a different beast. You have two people sitting here who logistically have to handle this meeting. I take the minutes, he answers questions. It's gonna be virtually impossible for us to be able to maintain that screen, maintain what needs to happen on this board, and take the minutes. But I am happy after the meeting to put any report that we have received. Now, I will not put the rec report because it's a draft.
Yep.
Okay? So until the commission actually approves those minutes, that they won't go on our website, because they're not even on the rec commission's websites. But the library report, the delinquents report, I mean, that's obviously public record. We can share that when we put the minutes up as attachments. But I would ask council to rethink expecting us to sit here and actually try to take care of this too, unless you want to pay another employee to sit beside us to handle that.
No.
I mean, I don't want to pay another employee, but I mean, it's just the computer and.
Your points are well taken.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. I mean, I was on Borough Council in Hummelstown, and they never put any report out before council acted on it. And then if you wanted a copy of it, you were free to get the copy the next day. Because it was all official information for council to take action on, and once the action was taken, then it was public record.
This is not technically acted on until the meeting's
Yeah,
over
so
tonight.
I'm just saying, is there anything in here?
No, because we haven't acted on
We
any
haven't
of this
acted
yet. We're only acting on this whole packet
So
tonight.
putting it on with the minutes is probably the best we can do at this point, until we act on it.
Okay.
We've only acted on this packet now, tonight. So we couldn't display it as we're acting on it because it's not technically
Official.
final yet.
Yeah.
Correct.
But Roger, can you talk to Elijah and work on another talk with plowing back?
We already
Oh,
have.
we
yeah.
already have.
Yeah.
And I agree,
This is the
the
first-
corners, a lot of the corners, they are awful. I had a hard time turning off a locust to come in. It's like, wow.
Is this the first winter with this crew?
Yes,
Yeah.
and this was the first big snow
Major
that they've
Yeah,
ever
yeah,
experienced. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, we need to remind them if we get this weekend that
Yeah, it's gonna be a
Find that
problem too, because if they didn't clear it back now, we get a lot of snow on top of it, where are they going?
Would the council
It's-
have to
Yeah,
make
that's more expensive.
some kind of decision whether or not to go against what, and plow closer to the curb? Because we can't tell them to do it because they can't do it right now because of our ordinance. Do you want to change that so that they can get better?
We don't have
You're
an
not gonna be
ordinance.
able to put it on
We
site.
wouldn't really be able to because of the Commonwealth courts too, because case law is,
You can't plow onto a
Yeah.
sidewalk that does not have a buffer.
right.
You
Like
would
if it
plow
had,
into the
if,
buffer.
if the street has a buffer, they can plow up to the curb.
And there's so many vehicles on these streets that you're never gonna get curb to curb.
Well,
I can
wasn't it a
vouch
snow
Cherry Street
emergency?
was
Weren't we
cleared
supposed to have everything off the streets? No?
Cars off.
Only certain.
There was no snow emergency.
No, it wasn't.
The only thing that was out, the governor issued a
The
state of
governor
emergency,
issued
and
it,
all
that's
that does is, it's supposed to open up the snow emergency routes, and it gets a lower bid for if they need
Okay.
more supplies.
Opens up funding.
Yeah. All right, anybody else for public comment number 2? All right, that will end public comment number 2. Announcements, Borough Council will conduct its next public meeting on Tuesday, February 10th, 2026, and Tuesday, February 24th, 2026, beginning at 7 PM. Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.
I am opposed to adjourning this meeting.
Waiting for someone to say that.